watching Overdrive. Now, there's a brand new Q car joining the Q family of Audis in India. Now, this is the sportier looking coupe SUV sibling of the Q7. It is called the Q8. Now, remember, we had brought you the first exclusive drive of this SUV from US last year, and here's a bit to refresh your memory.
On my recent trip to the United States, I visited Colorado to drive up the Trail Ridge Road, an iconic 70-kilometer road that winds around forests and snow-clad mountains. It was completed in the year 1933 and has been luring driving enthusiasts ever since. My choice for this trip was the Audi Q8, the sportier twin of the Q7, perfect for these roads.
Oh, it's starting to snow. It's super cold. Quickly tell me, what do you prefer, the Audi A6 or the Audi A7? If your answer is the A7, then in all probability, you have a thing for four-door coupes. You see, coupes have that knack. They make people go weak in their knees. But when it comes to coupe SUVs, well, things can get a little polarizing. But the Audi Q8 may not get all that hate. I think from where I'm standing, it looks quite good. Here in this setting at the Trail Ridge Road in Colorado, in all this snow, I think it gels right in and yet manages to stand out. I don't think there's a single bad angle on this car, but if you think otherwise, do let me know what it is. I think that front end looks stunning. It's very sporty, the sportiest that we've seen ever on any Audi Q car. The side profile, well, it looks balanced and sporty at the same time. And the tail, which is usually a sore point on any coupe SUV, I think Audi has done a great job designing the Q8 and making it look the way it does. Especially when the lights play their animation, that is when the tail looks its best. The Audi Q8, the Lamborghini Urus, and even the Porsche Cayenne for that matter, are tied together by a common thread called the MLB Evo, which is the same basic platform for these three cars. So with this platform, the Q8 gets access to a 48-volt electrical subsystem, rear axle steering, and enough processing power in the computers for these three high-definition screens, two on the center console and one behind the steering wheel. This layout is common across newer cars from Audi and will soon be seen on the new Q7 too, which will debut mid-July. We often complain that Audi's cabin design seems very similar to the lesser Volkswagen and Skoda cars, but this layout fixes that. The cabin immediately feels more premium and driver-focused. Getting in and out of the car, not a problem at all. The doors are nice and wide. You don't sit too high, not too low. So if you're an adult, if you're a kid, still getting into this cabin is super easy. You don't have to climb in like you usually do in an SUV of this class. This is somewhere around the midpoint. Also, the kind of space that you see, brilliant knee room, brilliant headroom for a coupe SUV, easily the best in the category. Unless, of course, you cram in three adults in here. Not going to be very comfortable with this tunnel console, and if you have three adults, you sit fairly close to the door and then the headroom can become a bit of an issue. But two adults and a kid, no problem at all. But if you need more space, then the Q7 will be a better bet. In fact, this is not even a 7-seater. But for a 5-seater SUV, I think this is the best kind of space and the most plush space that you can get. The petrol engine is a stonker of a motor, a 3-liter V6. I ideally wanted to be on the German Autobahn or maybe in the German Alps to be driving this car and exploiting that engine. It has a healthy 500 Newton meters of torque that is fed to an 8-speed automatic gearbox and the Quattro all-wheel drive system. This is the same engine that you also get in the Porsche Cayenne. So the Q8 certainly feels tighter than the Q7 when you're tackling bends, switchbacks like I am right now. So it would be safe to say that this is easily the quickest, stiffest, fastest SUV that you can buy from Audi India until they start bringing in the SQ range, of course. The handling manners of Q8 are generally very good, and as you would guess, they seem over-engineered for the speed limits that you will usually encounter. So despite being a driver-focused car, it is extremely easy to live with as a daily driver too. But when it comes to that, one will eventually compare it to the Q7, which certainly offers more value. You will appreciate the Q8 for the sportier form, of course, but if you still need a more compelling reason to choose it over a Q7, it is this. The Q8 is a more accessible alternative to the likes of the Porsche Cayenne. It certainly doesn't sound as great or drive with such razor-sharp precision, but then it has plenty to keep you entertained, both inside the cabin and behind the wheel, without breaking the bank.
So all things considered, I am pretty impressed with the Q8, and I'm guessing you would be too.
Audi has launched the Q8 at a whopping price of 1.33 crore rupees ex-showroom pan-India. Now the premium clientele can customize the SUV as per their wish. There are 54 external body colors to choose from, 11 interior options as well as 9 wooden inlays to choose from. The SUV is also a mild hybrid with a 48-volt electric motor which helps the car in initial startup and in traffic conditions. At the launch floor,